5 on my list, it's a lot like Jack and Dexter, BanjoKazooie / Tooie. Fantastic game. I spent many hours as a child and as an adult replaying them. I mean, as a child I played through, loved the game, it was a brilliant concept, and then come back as an adult a good 10 years later to perfect it, to learn the game and 100% the game essentially. It's just brilliant game. It's a platformer, but it also a collecting game. You got to collect everything to experience the full...
A collector farm.
Yeah, it is. But I spent so many hours just going back to perfect it, finding the hidden things that they've done, because some of them are really complex in the way they've hid certain aspects, and trying to find how to do everything. It takes ages just to perfect it, but it's one of my favourites.
Are you going to be playing ukulele then?
I don't know, I've been a bit iffy with ukulele because, I don't know, I might get it when I've got some spare money, but it'll be interesting to see, because it's literally the same thing but a different story, but I don't know, probably. I will probably end up having to delve at some point.
My number 5 is the Legacy of Kain series. Blood Omen, Blood Omen 2, Soul Reaver, Soul Reaver 2, and Defiance. The games are very generic, slashy games, apart from Blood Omen, which is a top-down isometric perspective. But even though they're very generic, you go through a temple, kill the boss, get a slightly better power-up, slightly better weapon, go to the next one. They explore concepts like destiny, fate, through a very basic time travel mechanic, where the characters, mainly Raziel, has to unravel this time-spanning plot to change the future, which ends up leading to Kain being the king of a wasteland, but him and eventually Kain try to unravel that plot and save the universe from an eldritch abomination who has meddled with time using agents in the human world. Kain is a vampire and Raziel was a vampire and now is a Soul Reaver, hence the title Soul Reaver. One of the quotes that stuck with me from this is, "History abhors a paradox," and it's about trying to create a paradox to undo a paradox that had already been created using time travel. It's a fun game to explore and try to unravel the mysteries of Nosgoth, the land it's set in, and there's a lot of mysteries to unravel. So if you've got the chance, they're all on Steam. Pick it up, have a playthrough. Don't bother with Blood Omen 1 because you won't find it, not legally anyway. So just start from Soul Reaver and have fun.
Yeah, I've never played it myself. Hadn't heard of it until I met you, but the way, how excited you were when you found one of the games in CEX was unbelievable. You absolutely lost it. So judging by that, I can tell that from your experience that it is a brilliant game. So again, as you said, definitely look it up. I might do so myself with spare money. Next on my list, number 4. My only true platformer, because I'm not a fan of platformers, it's the only true platformer that makes my list, is Crash Bandicoot. Utter brilliance in a game. I mean, the Insane Trilogy, it's unbelievable. It's the one game, in my opinion, that made me want to smash my controller 10 times over, but at the same time, it makes you fall in love with the game even more. It's fantastic. It takes so much patience and will to do so, but it's so good. You just want to progress further. You can't do a bit. You just want to say no and just do it. But they're brilliant. I mean, some of the adaptations weren't as good, but I mean stuff like Crash Team Racing, one of the best driving games I've ever played. It was so good.
Mario Kart.
No, Crash Team Racing, but yeah, Crash. I mean, just with the modern day remaster, it looks brilliant. They've made a game that was already brilliant and perfected it with the remaster. I mean, it was just a brilliant game.
Well, my number 4 is Zelda. Now, what can I say about Zelda? Well, it's Zelda. It's the original adventure game. It's the game where you go and defeat Ganon over and over again. The basics of Zelda never change. Every game is the same game underneath. But the level design, the world design, the concept designs are all so much different game to game. You can always play it and feel it's a new game. My favourite Zelda would have to be A Link to the Past, followed by Wind Waker, followed by Ocarina of Time. It's just a fun classic game that everyone loves for a reason, and that reason is it's awesome. Mm-hmm. It's Zelda.
Yeah, I played a lot of Zelda. My personal favourite being Ocarina of Time. It was a little game that didn't take much. You could take it anywhere on your well, in my opinion, the 3DS. So all the remastered ones they've done, but you could spend hours anywhere just playing Zelda. I mean, it's the same game over and over again, but it just feels different every time you play. It's just
a lot of fanboys will be angry at us for saying that.
Yeah, I know, but no, I love Zelda. Brilliant game. That's what you can say already. It's just a fantastic
It's Zelda.
game. It's Zelda.
Top 3.
Top 3, the big 3. And sticking with Nintendo, for me, again, no matter who you are, everyone has played Pokemon. No matter who you are, you will have played Pokemon at some point in your life.
Even if it's just Go.
Even if it's Pokemon Go. That thing, it's so evolutionary, it's unbelievable.
I see what you did there.
Yeah. See, you start the originals back in the day with the original Pokemons, a black and white screen, and that was it. A universe was created, and then all the way to now, modern games still being released every year or so. There's a brand new Pokemon game with Pokemon Go, and Sun and Moon itself, constantly being made anew. I mean, there's countless TV shows, countless movies, merchandise, and games themselves, and then there's so much in this universe created. I mean, it was unbelievable how massive it could have been. I mean, no one would have believed it.
Well, over 2 decades later, and it's still the biggest
still
thing.
Playing it. Yeah.
It's still, when there's a new Pokemon game, everyone goes, "Oh,
Yeah.
There's a new Pokemon game. Are you gonna get it? It's good. It looks awesome." When Pokemon Go came out a year ago now,
God.
everyone went
lost
crazy. It was a phenomenon, and to this day, there is not a single person in the world that doesn't know Pikachu.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to a remote island in the middle of somewhere with a Pikachu doll and say, "Who is this?" And they'll go, "Pikachu."
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows Pikachu, and even although Charmander is better,
well, it's all about Squirtle, but you know,
Charmander.
You know, we won't argue.
It's all about the Charmander.
It's a massive game in a massive universe, and everyone loves it.
It seems to be never ending because they keep coming up with new places and new Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's generational as well. I mean, the kids nowadays are playing it, and then people who played the originals, like me, and even people older, are still playing. I mean, I'm on a Facebook page about from where we live, on a Pokemon Go site, and there's people in their 50s playing it. Mm-hmm. It's just
good way to get fit.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's how they've evolutionised so much, or evolutionised.
My number 3 is the Stanley Parable. This is a game... Well, let's go with this. This is a story all about Stanley. It's a game about games and about choice-based gameplay. There's no enemies, no guns, no platforms, no collecting. You just follow the story. But the twist is, you don't have to. And if you get a chance to play Stanley Parable, go in blind. I don't want to say too much about it. Just turn your headphones up to max, listen to the narrator who sounds a little bit like Stephen Fry, and enjoy the ride. It's one of those games you have to play 1,000 times over, as I have, because it's a branching story game, and you'll enjoy it. Trust me.
You sound like someone from the company trying to sell it.
It's just that good.
Yeah. So, number 2. The big number 2. And this is where I come in from Bioshock. Bioshock for me ranks at number 2. Is my second favourite game of all time. It's fantastic. For me, it's about the lore, about the story. It's so massive. Yes, there is the game, as you said, there's the game you can play through in a day, and you're still none the wiser. But if you read into it, if you find everything, collect everything, play the lore, it's ever expanding. It's brilliant. You'll never get bored of playing Bioshock. I don't know how many times I've played all 3 of them all the way over. I can't even count. But it's everything. The plots, the characters, the gameplay, everything about it is just so amazing. It was a very, very tight second, which is shocking considering my first. But it's just, I don't know, it's Bioshock. It's fantastic.
Yeah, well, I've already said what my thoughts on Bioshock
Exactly.
are. The reason it's not higher on my list is because I'm a fanboy of so many things, and Bioshock 2 wasn't great.
It wasn't great,
but... It wasn't good. It was just serviceable.
That's a bit harsh.
Gameplay-wise, it was exactly the same as Bioshock 1, but it didn't have the story or the philosophy or the heart. It was outsourced to a different company, and they just hurriedly made a clone of the first one.
That's the problem with it though, and they do it with a lot of things. Same with Fallout. They sourced it to another company, and New Vegas was terrible.
Yeah. Well, Bioshock 2 was terrible.
It wasn't terrible.
But 1 and Infinity, which were done by 2K, were amazing. Just through and through, brilliant games. But as I said, I'm a fanboy of so many things. So my number 2 is Kingdom Hearts. What can I say? Disney. Everyone loves Disney.
Who doesn't love Disney?
Who doesn't love Disney? I mean, playing as Sora, as a lion cub, running through the Pride Lands, best thing ever.
And I can't even express how much we exploded when the new trailer came out. It was...
Pixar in Kingdom Hearts. I cannot wait.
We're going to be there on release day, getting a copy each. Yeah. It's just...
I got a PS4 ready just for Kingdom Hearts 3. That was the whole... Well, that and Final Fantasy 15, but we'll get to that. It's just... The gameplay is fun. The mechanics are fun. The story, though complicated at times, is fun. The characters are fun. Everything about it is bright and fun, and... Though it does delve into some dark concepts at times, it's just... I've not picked up a game which I can play over and over and over and over and over because it's just that fun.
I don't want to put a guess on how many times you've played them, because
you don't.
I don't think I have a number.
You don't. There is no number.
It's ridiculous.
The number is
Absolutely
gone.
ridiculous.
The number has vanished.
And the big reveal, the one we've all been waiting for, the number one spot. For me, it's obvious if you know me, the Assassin's Creed series. It's a big shock, I know. It's, to me, the best series ever to exist. It's consistently growing. It started off as a small, free-running game about a story of a young assassin trying to become a master and finding out so much more about the world and its origins and things left behind from ancient civilizations. It's forever growing. And I mean, they've released, I think we're on 8 now or something stupid like that. There's so many games. They've got a movie, they've rumoured TV shows, they've got so many spin-offs and platformers, and it's a forever growing game. I mean, come on, I've got 2 tattoos. I don't know if I can express how much I love the Assassin's Creed series. They always continue to impress me.
I tried to play the games. It was by the 3rd time I was pretending to be a monk and to not get seen, I realised that I was bored of this game. I love you, man, but that game's... It's just
so good. I mean,
I just couldn't.
It's so good. It's a game that's transformed into a book. It's that good. Name another game that you know has got a book.
Resume.
But yeah, I mean, it's my all-time favourite. It continues to get better. They got a bit iffy. About 4 or 5 in, they started to get a bit slow, and they lost their touch. And then they brought back with the newest one so far, Syndicate. They brought it back, and it's just top of its game. It's so good, and I'm eagerly awaiting Origins.
My number 1, Final Fantasy. Shocker, I know. What can I say? It's Final Fantasy. It's a vast game series from the NES, all the way up to the most recent consoles, and with more spin-offs than you can count. If you count all the spin-offs, there's like 70 games or something like that. There's my first Final Fantasy was Final Fantasy VII, and I've got to say, first time I played it, got bored. First boss, stopped playing it. A couple of months later, ran out of games to play, put it back on, and got hooked. Really, the point which I was really hooked, Aerith's death.
Spoilers.
Well, spoiler warning, definitely. If you've not been in the gaming scene for the past 25 years, then yeah, spoilers. Really got me. Really, I cried my eyes out. 13-year-old, cried my eyes out over a fictional character. The camera's shaking because our cameraman is making gestures. What else? The stories have exploded. They're now much bigger than they were on the NES, but at the time they were such big, vast stories for what was capable. The soundtracks, Nobuo Uematsu's compositions are fantastic. I can just listen to the soundtrack of Final Fantasy for fun, and that's most of the Final Fantasy games. Which you can't do for many games because the soundtracks are just there to be in the background, but these are such big, epic, orchestral songs. How can you not like Final Fantasy?
I played 15 and I loved 15, but as a child I played, I don't know which one, I think it might have been 9 or something, I don't know, I can't remember.
9 was awesome.
But I just couldn't get into it. At the time, I was a Pokemon Crash fan. I couldn't get into Final Fantasy. I don't know why, I just couldn't.
The problem with the early Final Fantasies is they're hard to get into because you start off so low powered and low. There's not much customization and stuff, but once you're a bit of a ways into the game, you find that you can customize huge trees of different stats and effects and stuff, and you can change so much and create so many different strategies. That's when the games come alive. But you've got to push through the boring beginning where you're just pressing X constantly to get through battles.
And that's why I loved 15. I mean, it was so different, it was so modern, and I loved it. I might delve back a bit into some older ones, but I agree.
If you like 15, you should try 12.
I see why you love the series so much, because they are brilliant games, but I need to delve myself into them a little bit.
So that was our top 10 game series or franchise. We might have specific top 10 games in the future, or we might delve into our top 10 of these series. We've got several videos planned, some exploring different gameplays, different genres, and mostly we're going to argue with each other a lot.
Pretty much.
That's going to be our thing, because we do that.
We might have a little bit of maybe a gameplay.
Yeah. We might actually fight. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah. I'd lose, but yeah, we'd fight.
Right, I think that's about it. So we will see you in the next video.
Bye.